If there's been one accessory that James Bond has worn throughout all of the movies from 1962 all the way through to 2015, it's been watches. And it's about high time that the Bond Experience explores the watches of James Bond. Hello, David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Yes, we're doing it. I know it's been requested. I've been meaning to do it. I needed the time. I needed to see where I was going to go with it. And here it is. It is the watches of James Bond. And now listen, let's put a little asterisk on this vlog. This is not that video that goes over coaxial movements and sapphire crystals or ruby crystals or jewels. No. If you want to do that, if you want that information on the James Bond watches, I got a great website, all right? So write this down. You may want to get a pen to write this incredible website down. It's called Google. It starts with a G. Google. This is not Google, all right? And this is not that watch vlog. This is a vlog that talks about, quite frankly, my emotional connection to the different watches, what I've liked about them, what I didn't. I will make mistakes on this. I promise you. I will have things mispronounced. I'll get the watches wrong. I'm going to show parts of my collection. Some of them are authentic watches. Some of them aren't. It's all over the board. But I hope you're a bit patient with me because it does go over the journey of these amazing pieces of accessory. And so let's just start. The first watch in my collection I'm going to go over actually is not a Bond watch at all. As a matter of fact, it's owned by Donald Grant. Some people have said it's the Gruen Precision 510. I don't know if they've ever discovered it, but this is my version. I actually just took something that was very close and made it. I wanted to do a garrote watch. There are some unbelievable replicas out there. This is not one of them. This was my own little amalgamation that I wanted to put together, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But I always did love the garrote watch. I thought it was a nice piece showing that, Donald Grant, who's pretty much an equal to Bond, at least for most of the movie, has an equally maniacal, bombastic type of watch. So in my collection, we head over to Goldfinger, where we have the Submariner Oyster Perpetual 6538. Now you're going to notice for those eagle-eyed or even those that aren't that eagle-eyed, I could not find one of these. I'm sure they're out there, but I found an amalgamation. I found a representation, if you will. So this is the one that I found. What I liked about this was it has kind of that look to it that has the kind of the vintage yellowing around there. I wanted to try to get a NATO strap. So that's kind of what makes this obviously a little bit different. A NATO strap that looks like the one that you see in the movie. So it's got that really unique kind of wine-colored red stripe going through that I think you can see on camera, which I really like. But this was the right size. Now, obviously, this wouldn't have a guard over here if it was the correct one. You're going to see when we go to Live and Let Die, I get something a little bit closer, but there's no date. And that's the really cool thing about this Rolex. It is a no-date watch. Most of the Rolexes that you see today do have dates on them. This one, as you can see, doesn't. It's been a little bit battle-torn. But you know something? From a display standpoint, as I let it fall to its doom, it looks the part. Well, now we move on to the Roger Moore portion of my collection, where 1973, Roger Moore's debut as James Bond in Live and Let Die. He wore another watch in the opening sequence. It was a Pulsar LED digital watch by Hamilton. And let's kind of move in a little bit closer to show that one. Here it is right here. Wonderful. I actually think this is very cool. Again, it's a picture of the time. These type of LED digital watches were very hot. Hamilton issued this. By the way, there should be just one button. This one has two buttons. It's one of those close but no cigar situations. But I'll tell you, the watch that I really want to talk about is sitting in a box right next to it. So let's have a look at that. So I was a huge fan of Live and Let Die, still am actually. And at one point I wanted to get the Live and Let Die 5513 Rolex Submariner watch. The 5513 is the one that you see in the Saw scene. I mean, it's all over the place. But you know, I didn't want to get a vintage watch. I could. They were hard to get. They had to be refurbished and things like that. So what I wound up doing was, I think, the next best thing, which is to actually go and get the updated version of the 5513. So this is the box that it came in. And interestingly enough, let's take this out. Here we go. There it is. There's the Rolex. That's the updated version of the 5513. You're going to notice that there is no date. So it's a no date watch. And I believe, and I'm sure somebody will correct me, please do, that this was the last year, whatever year I got this in, that you could get the no date version of this. Again, nice wood box. It's got the beautiful display, the Rolex green boxes, etc. We got the cleaning cloth. We've got all the little guarantees and everything like that. But I'm a huge fan of this watch. Now, because I tend to wear my Casino Royale Planet Ocean, this has been adopted by my wife. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would rather it get used, quite frankly. And she wears it. She loves it. It's a wonderful watch. A lot of women are wearing these type of, bigger watches that are sports related. She looks great in it. So I'm just glad it's being used. So there you go. Now, this is a perfect example of an emotional connection. 1979 Moonraker brought 007 to outer space, and he's assisted by this watch right here. This is the Seiko M354 memory bank calendar, but you all remember it because it conceals an explosive secret. Remember that? When he uses this to blast his way to his to the other agent and his flight mate. And I love that scene. So here we go with the emotional connection. That scene to me was all about Bond. He takes out the explosive. He uses his watch in a very intelligent, very resourceful way. So when trying to decide what watches am I going to collect, and everybody's got a finite budget, and plus I don't want to look like it's a jewelry store. Which one am I going to get? This connected as a child. I remember Moonraker being a very emotional connection as far as an overall movie anyway. And so to me, this was an easy get. And again, you can find them on eBay pretty readily. Now, of course, we've got to turn our attention to Octopussy. Again, just a fun, wonderful movie that I really enjoyed. And you had that controversial scene, or at least I heard it was in England, where on the left here you have Bond with a Seiko TV watch. He zooms in on the woman's breast. It's just a very Bond Moore-like moment. I mean, Moore with his arched eyebrow. It was just fun and campy and wonderful to watch. Why not, to me? And then, obviously, he also has this watch, the other watch, which is really around the Sports 100, or it's supposed to be. This one right here is what I consider a close enough. It doesn't have the horseshoe block around here. It has a lot of the other details, but it is different. So this is one of these that I collected, but it's not the correct one. So you've got to be really careful out there. I bought it thinking, oh, that's the watch. And it was one of those snap judgment things because, again, these can turn into very emotional purchases and therefore sometimes expensive purchases. This is what you call a happy accident. I had actually purchased this watch, this Tag Heuer. I believe it's the Professional Night Dive reference. It's not exactly the correct one from the movie. The correct one from the movie is kind of like a black rubber anodized type of number, but this is damn close. I mean, it's only one reference number off. But I bought it for her way back in, I think, 1987, 88, 89, somewhere around there. But the reality is that it showed up in the living daylights, and there it is. So my wife doesn't wear it anymore. I told you. She has that other Rolex and some other watches. So now it is a part of this collection. So now we take a massive jump. Let me explain to you what's happening here. So around the time of Tomorrow Never Dies, 1997, I was a young executive. I had a little bit of folding cash, and that's when my Bond passion really started. One of the first things that I purchased really spoke to me. It was this Omega Seamaster Professional 300 meter. Come on, David, get this right. Taking it out of the box right now. I remember this coming in, and it was an emotional moment. I mean, I had never seen a luxury item before. I never had one. I never owned one. I was a young professional. It was my first piece. You know, some people get Mont Blanc pens, some people get cars. This watch spoke to me in the film for obvious reasons. It was a gadget. It was worn by Pierce Brosnan. I thought he was really suave and debonair. He got me into Bond again. And, you know, you get this thing in and it's leather and it's beautiful and it's got this wonderful emblem. And then you open it up and you start gasping. And you start gasping because it's your first Omega watch and it's absolutely beautiful. A lot of you have encountered this emotional moment where you own a piece of Bond and the watches. This is where everything changed. And I wanted to show you what the tipping point was because, you know, getting into this Bond lifestyle, something had to happen. Something had to be the catalyst. And this was it. It was this watch. The blues of it, the look of it, the wave of it. Again, I'm not going to go into the statistics of this watch. You can find it on Google. But I wanted to talk about the emotional connection because it was there and I remember treating it really well. And then at some point, maybe a year or two down the line, wearing it, just wearing it and forgetting that this was a high-end luxury piece and just enjoying the lifestyle moments that it followed me on a journey. I mean, it was with me every single day until I got my next watch. But there it is. And it still has a great emotional connection, although I have to say I'm very happy to say again that my wife Danielle wears this. You know, she's got the black Rolex and she's got this for blue and summertime outfits and things like that. So I'm glad that it's getting used because if it just sat in the box in a collection over here, weep, a dripping tear would occur. So there you go. So just like Tomorrow Never Dies. So just like Tomorrow Never Dies, Casino Royale had a real connection for me. I thought it was an amazing reboot. I thought Daniel Craig was a fantastic Bond, very rough and tumble. So you'll notice that throughout this entire vlog, I've been wearing this watch, the Planet Ocean, the Casino Royale Planet Ocean. Came in this wonderful display box, looks familiar, Omega, and it was a tough moment though, and let me explain because this is worth the journey discussion. For so long I was wearing the Tomorrow Never Dies watch that I almost thought I was you know, showing it disrespect by getting this new watch, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll just get it and collect it and not wear it. It came with this amazing metal band. And lo and behold, I found myself gravitating to this because I wanted to connect to the latest movie, the newest movie, and feel that connection to it. Again, it's the emotional purchase behind it and not just the detailed purchase. Plus, it was rough and tumble. It's huge. It's like real estate on your wrist. I mean, I'm used to it now, but I remember when I first received this, I thought this had its own zip code. It was so large. But for me, it was the epitome of capturing the Casino Royale moment in all its glory. And even today, even post Spectre, it's kind of my go-to watch, except if I'm getting dressed up in suits or something a little bit more smart, casual, and up. So then in 2008, we go to Quantum of Solace, arguably one of the best films for accessories and clothing and watches. And here we have the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 600 meter, reference 2201.50 to be exact. Really cool watch, a little different than the Casino Royale one, but great in its own regard. A little bit more doable as far as size for those that didn't want the huge one. Now, for many, the coupe de grace, the cream of the crop, is from the latest adventure. It is the Spectre watch. This is great. This was kind of an impromptu birthday gift as we were heading to London to see the Spectre premiere. It was fantastic. It was a moment between Danielle and I where we discussed it, and I made the investment. I'm so glad I did. This is the Omega Seamaster 300 Spectre, and it harkens back to obviously the older watches. What's great about this is obviously in the movie, this is also a Q-branch gadget. Now check this out. Watch this. This is very cool. So the Omega depresses. Obviously the code is 007. It opens it up, and oh my gosh, what an amazing presentation. First of all, you have the watch itself, which is absolutely beautiful watch. I love this. This is my go-to for tuxedos and suits and when I have a pitch, and it's comfortable. What I love about it is obviously the strap itself. So let's put that lovely thing back in here. And yes, every night I put this back in the case. But there it is. And you can see here how the NATO strap harkens back to the Connery times. It's an absolutely beautiful strap. It's got a lot of wonderful details, the little 007 piece and a lot of the details on the case backing. But again, you can see beautiful pictures of this and video of this online. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the emotional connection in opening something like this up, because the watch would have been enough, but there's more. If we slowly pan up from the watch, you'll see that when you do open it up, look at this. You get that wonderful Spectre. It's right there in all its glory. It's pretty obvious where this watch is from, and it's staring you right in the face. Now that's got some major cool factor, but check this out. In this seemingly hidden case, you've got other goodies. You've got another band, which is fantastic. You can see it here. It's got the Omega symbol plus the 007. It's absolutely in pristine shape because guess what? I've never taken off the NATO strap. You also have a series of different items in here, which I will pull out. For example, this wonderful piece right here, which is just to change the band itself. It is a watch tool, but it's a nice one. It's branded very nicely from Omega. This was a little extra piece. And this is the loop. Now check this out, because when you change this, you've got to really keep an eye on things. This is for your eye. This is a loop to not only admire your watch closer, but to change the watch, to look at the pins, etc. What I love about this is it's got a little opening, these scallops to let light come in. And what's wonderful is it all fits together in a beautiful little Q branch-like area, and then closes, and it's gone. And look at this. I mean, come on, folks. From a presentation standpoint, does it get better than this? I think not. So there is absolutely no doubt that that is a cool watch. So why am I wearing this Casino Royale Planet Ocean? Well, I thought about it for a little bit, and the reality is we have a connection to these watches that are a bit of us. I mean, to me, this watch was the representative, the souvenir of a movie that connected me to Bond in a way that I had never been connected to before, meaning a guy that was my age, that I could, somewhat capture pieces of the lifestyle. The Tomorrow Never Dies one, still love it. This one from Spectre, amazing. It's a gadget. It's from a cool portion of the movie, etc. But this is the one that I keep going back to time and time again. Also like the size of it, etc. So I think that we develop a relationship, and it's not to say that things should own us. We should own things. I get that all. But think about heirlooms. Think about when you buy something and you get excited and it lifts you up, or you share that moment where somebody else has that same watch. How many pictures have we seen that before? It's a little bit of a brother and sisterhood that connects us together. Well, this connects you to a moment. And what I love about this, yes, you've heard me say this a million times, it's an invisible Bond moment. You could be sitting in a corporate boardroom. You could be sitting on a train somewhere. You could be sitting in a family dinner, and you could suddenly escape by looking down and remembering that scene from Casino Royale. And just for a moment, you capture that Bond experience. And that's what it's all about. Anyway, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience, and we will see you very soon. Take care. Oh, hey, you're still here. I didn't even know. Listen, while you're here, if you want, so I would actually go to this button right here and click on it, because then you actually subscribe to our vlogs. It's amazing. You get to see all the upcoming stuff first. You get notifications. It screams at you while you're at work. It's absolutely amazing. Just click on this button, hit subscribe. Just move your cursor, move